What's up, everybody? JJ Shankles, the Goat Toasters here, back with another episode of your daily tech news. Today we've got a very exciting episode, so let's get right into it. But first, coffee time. Excellent. The first story of today comes from SpaceX. They did another launch that sent 58 of their Starlink satellites into orbit. End goal for all of these satellites they're sending into the air will be to provide satellite internet for so many people who don't currently have ability to access high-speed internet. There were a couple big things about this launch. First off, they did put a sort of sun blocker on the antennas of these space satellites. There had been some complaints from the scientific community that these were adding a lot of bright satellites moving across the sky and made certain scientific observances of the sky a little bit more difficult now. But hopefully with these sun blockers on there, the reflections will be a lot less and they won't be a bright object flying across the sky at night. Another big part of this launch is that they split their payload to also send up 3 satellites for a different company. This could be big in the future if SpaceX becomes the de facto launcher in the US to launch a bunch of different companies' satellites into space. It's all about economies of scale, and if one company can be sending a lot of satellites into space, they can keep costs down and do much more research and really push the boundaries of space exploration for mankind. But back here on Earth, more Elon news. The Boring Company has 2 casinos that want to join in the loop that they've put in Las Vegas. So they put an underground loop. Currently, it's just under the convention center. It's slated to actually be open in January to allow patrons of the convention center to be able to use these underground tunnels to shuttle around the convention center. Now, 2 resorts, the Resorts World Las Vegas and the Wynn Casinos, both want to join up to be part of this loop to allow patrons to be shuttled back and forth in between these. That way you don't have to order a taxi or Uber or a bus. And so if there's traffic, these underground tunnels will be able to transport you back and forth between different locations. This is a big step in the right direction when companies want to join with the Boring Company before their first tunnel has even been launched. It definitely shows the confidence that these companies have in Elon Musk and the Boring Company as of now. This next story, you might need to put on your tinfoil hats because it gets wild. Researchers have shown that it's possible to eavesdrop on a conversation happening in a different room if you can see a hanging light bulb in that room. They do say it takes at least $400 of special equipment hooked up to a telescope pointed at an exposed light bulb in the room, but people's conversation in a room or just noise in the room in general will modulate the light output of the light bulb enough that you can detect what they're saying. There are a few flaws with this because a lampshade makes it so you can't hear it, or if they're talking quiet enough, they also won't be able to pick it up. But definitely a creepy discovery by these scientists. People may be listening in on your conversations. I know around this apartment we have lampshades on everything, so I think we're safe. A new Wi-Fi router announced by ASUS could be the perfect mid-range mesh Wi-Fi of the future. This new kit comes in a bundle of 3 different endpoints covering up to 4,800 square feet and offering up to Wi-Fi 6 protocols. This is the new future of Wi-Fi. The price is decent at $300, with Google's mesh Wi-Fi being $350 or Amazon's more budget option being $250 sometimes goes on sale for as low as $200, but neither the Amazon or Google options even give you a Wi-Fi 6 option. So they claim up to 8K streaming, or a lot of devices can connect at the same time and still get good internet out of it. And they look pretty good as well, coming in a white or black option. Wi-Fi 6 is still slowly being adopted by routers and in devices. A lot of phones don't support Wi-Fi 6, but this gives you the ability to future-proof your Wi-Fi router purchases. And on to our video game news. This next one is something I personally have backed. If you haven't been to the website itch.io, it's one of the largest indie video game platform marketplaces online. They've created a large bundle of games and they're donating all proceeds to end racial inequality, and they've raised over $6 million, and I'm proud to say I donated to that. And with a donation of as little as $5, you receive over 1,000 indie games. I scrolled through and there were a bunch of highlights there that I'd heard about that looked great, and so donating some money to the cause is a great way to donate to the cause and play some amazing indie video games. I would highly recommend this, and the link is in the description down below. More video game news from a large company. Hopefully EA doesn't mess this one up. Star Wars Squadrons is set to be announced. There was a leak that they were about to announce this, so they decided to push up the announcement to early this week. Star Wars Rogue Squadron was a classic starfighter video game, and just knowing how EA does, hopefully they don't riddle this one with a bunch of microtransactions and paywalls. Hopefully they've learned by their previous mistakes with Battlefront 1 and 2, but it's EA and money is money to a large corporation. But I'm really hoping for a good starfighter video game. And onto the mobile space, a lot of new things have been discovered about the Android 11 operating system as it's now in open beta. One big one is they are now adding a recycling can, similar to how Windows and macOS have a recycling icon on their desktop, where if you delete things, it goes into the recycling and it won't fully remove that from your storage until you need that storage to download other things on top of it. It's sort of a fail-safe. It keeps things in there. If you deleted things, then you realize you didn't want to delete it, you can easily get them out of the recycling bin instead of fully deleting something, and then it becomes much harder, if not possible at all, to recover those pictures or files. I think this would be great in the mobile space, because what if you deleted a picture and then realized you didn't want to delete those pictures? If that part of your memory hadn't been overwritten in that time, you'd just be able to recall those images and pull them back up. This is huge, and when they've announced this, it makes you wonder why they haven't done this already. So it does make me excited for Android 11. This next announcement is a little bit of a wild one. They found in the code that there were 83 different game controllers that could control the Android operating system. And they found some pretty weird ones. There's a Rock Band guitar, there's a Guitar Hero guitar, there's an Xbox 360 Dead or Alive 4 control stick, Dance Dance Revolution dance pads, there's even a flight emulator stick, and a drum pad set. What this means is these won't just be for controlling a video game on your mobile phone. You could theoretically use these to move around and control your Android 11 operating system. So sending messages or navigating and opening apps. Kind of wild, but they did specifically list these as being able to control the Android 11 operating system. So we'll have to see where this actually goes when Android 11 is fully released. A new leak from Google shows the specs of their upcoming new TV dongle. It's named Sabrina, comes in multicolors, and has a programmable button on it. As of yet, it's not exactly sure what this button could be set as. One thing that was discovered in this leak is that it will have a low latency input option. This would be great for games where you don't want the TV to do much post-processing to try to smooth images or make it more beautiful. But in playing video games or streaming services, you don't want them to post-process it because it increases your input lag. This could be big for Google Stadia. 2020 will be big for the iPhone. There are 9 different variations confirmed for the 2020 iPhone. Everything from the iPhone 12 to the iPhone 12 Pro Max and everything in between. This will be a huge amount of iPhones for this year. Usually Apple has a fairly minimal cut down options, only giving you a couple options that really cuts down on operating costs where they don't have to have so many different options in stock at all times. Maybe this is a new move for Apple. We'll have to see if they continue this going forward. But that about wraps up our news for today. If anything I said was infactual or I missed a story you wanted me to cover, make sure to comment it in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you would hit the like and subscribe button, it really helps this channel out, helps me with the YouTube algorithm, and makes more people see this video. But anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing day out there. Make sure you're staying safe. Make sure you wash your hands a lot, and I'll see you again on the next episode. Go Toaster out.